Minneapolis, the Indianapolis Colts quarterback move didn't exactly play out as expected, with the team's offense producing its fewest points, yards, and first downs of the season in Joe Flacco's first game since being named the starter over Anthony Richardson. But coach Shane Steichen did not appear ready to revisit his much-debated decision, saying in the wake of Indianapolis' 21-13 loss to the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday night that Flacco will remain the Colts QB1. Right now, yes, Steichen replied when asked if Flacco is still his starter. Steichen's decision was under scrutiny after he initiated the change Tuesday and, on Wednesday, told reporters the call was made because Flacco gives us the best chance to win right now. Editor's picks. What we learned in NFL Week 9. We answered big questions and sized up every single matchup. 6 HNFL Nation. Fumble by Vikings. Sam Darnold leads to 38-yard Kenny Moore 2 TD for Colts. 8 H Stephen Holder. Let's overreact to NFL Week 9. Giants should trade for Bryce Young. Cowboys will unload at the deadline. 9 H Dan Graziano. Instead, the Colts fell to 4-5, and their offense seemed to take a step back, producing season lows in offensive points, 6, yards, 227, and first downs 13, while struggling to find any consistency against the Brian Flores-led defense. The Colts were particularly unproductive in the first half, generating just 92 yards of offense and 62 passing yards. Indianapolis was 3-for-11 in third down efficiency for the game, with Flacco going 3 of 9 for 47 yards in those scenarios. You know, coming in here against a team like that, it's going to be difficult, Flacco said. But I don't think you ever anticipate something like that. Overall, Flacco completed 16 of his 27 passes for 179 yards with 1 interception, the result of a questionable decision that allowed Vikings cornerback Byron Murphy Jr. to undercut Colts wide receiver Josh Downs on a third down outbreaking route. Steichen said Flacco was fine. Obviously, he's played in environments like this before, the coach said. But again, it starts with myself. I've got to keep looking at what we're doing offensively. We have 8 games left, and I've got to look at scheme stuff and see what we're doing and go from there. Richardson's struggles were well documented, especially his NFL low 44.4% completion rate and 7 interceptions. But the Colts missed the attributes the 22-year-old quarterback provides, including his dangerous deep ball throws and running ability. Flacco on Sunday generated just 2 completions longer than 20 yards. His 7.7 air yards per attempt was the lowest by the Colts in a game this season. Explosive plays is an area where Richardson excelled, with an NFL-high 12.3 air yards per attempt in 2024. As for the running game, the Colts struggled to produce any consistent success against the Vikings' formidable run defense. Richardson, a dual-threat quarterback, has given the Colts a boost on the ground that they perhaps missed on Sunday. Indianapolis finished with a season-low 68 rushing yards in Minneapolis, with running back Jonathan Taylor 48 yards, matching his lowest output of the season 1 week after rushing for 105 yards in a loss at the Houston Texans. The change in quarterback definitely changes up the plays that we run, Indy wideout Alec Pierce said. We're not doing as many run-pass option types of things. The offensive performance overshadowed a defensive surge by the Colts, who produced 3 turnovers, including a strip sack by Grover Stewart that was scooped up and returned for a touchdown by Kenny Moore too. It was the Colts' only TD of the game. Green Bay, Wisconsin, weather conditions were chilly, windy, and wet inside of Lambeau Field, but the Detroit Lions still walked away as winners on Sunday in their first outdoor game of the season. The 24-14 victory over the Green Bay Packers gave the Lions 3 straight road wins over their NFC North rivals, the first such streak since Detroit won 4 straight at Lambeau Field from 1986 to 1991. The Lions had played their first 7 games of the season indoors, the only team to do so other than the 1998 New Orleans Saints in NFL history, according to Elias. But the change in environment in their 8th game on Sunday didn't end up matching. According to head coach Dan Campbell, the Lions are built to win under any conditions. I know this. I'm not shocked one bit that we came out here and played pretty good football out in the elements, Campbell said. We're built for this. And it doesn't matter, and just because we play indoors, it doesn't matter. We can play anywhere. We can play in the snow. We can play in the rain, play in the mud. That's just us. We're built to win. Detroit has 2 more outdoor games remaining this regular season. During Week 16, the Lions will face the Bears at Chicago. Then they will play at San Francisco in Week 17 against the 49ers. The team is confident that it can compete with any team in the league at this point. We're supposed to be the dome team who can't play outside. We're supposed to be the team that can only win one way, and I think we've shown a handful of times that we can win in multiple ways, said Lions QB Jared Goff, who went 18-for-22 with 145 passing yards and a touchdown. We're chameleons, and whatever takes to win in whatever way, that's what we're going to do. Editor's picks. Lions S. Branch ejected for helmet-to-helmet hit. 7. Herrick Woodyard. What we learned in NFL Week 9. We answered big questions and sized up every single matchup. 6. HNFL Nation. Let's overreact to NFL Week 9. Giants should trade for Bryce Young? Cowboys will unload at the deadline? 9. H. Dan Graziano. The Lions were dominant on both sides of the ball as the defense allowed its lone touchdown in the final 3:49 off a 2-yard run by Emmanuel Wilson, and safety Kirby Joseph recorded the first pick-six of his NFL career with 32 seconds left before halftime to put the Lions up 17-3. Although Detroit's offense was outgained 411-261 by the Packers, the Lions still controlled the game with 0 turnovers and a strong ground attack. The running back duo of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs combined for 138 rushing yards and a touchdown to help Detroit improve to 7-1 for the first time since 1956. We know we're killers, man. Killers kill. That's what we do, Lions cornerback Amick Robertson said. We've got to keep on stacking them, though. Despite Detroit's ability to win under new circumstances such as the bad weather this week, Campbell is still urging the team to continue to clean up other areas that it can improve on before it travels to face Houston in next week's Sunday night football game. There were a number of things we talked about. Run game supremacy, we talked about explosives, as crazy as that sounds in that type of weather, but whoever could come up with the most explosives, field position and turnover ratio, Campbell said. The fact that we took care of the football. We preached it all week. We worked it. Wet ball drills every day at practice outdoors. Our guys really did a great job. Goff took great care of the football, and it was the difference. It was a big difference. Lions All-Pro receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, who entered the stadium before Sunday's game dressed in a black hoodie that read "Green Bay sucks," caught 7 passes for 56 yards and a touchdown, and became the first wide receiver in at least 19 seasons to catch 30 consecutive targets. He has connected on 30 straight passes with Goff, who also became the first quarterback in NFL history to complete 80% of passes over a 6-game span, min 100 attempts, per ESPN research. Goff said this is probably the best stretch of his career as this victory seemingly put the Lions in the driver's seat in the NFC, but they're nowhere near satisfied. Each game is its own battle and its own journey, and I think we've gotten really good at flushing it away. Even if it's a loss, Goff said. Flushing it away quickly and turning over to the next game. So now it will be this winning and then having to flush this one tomorrow and move on to Houston. Sunday night at their place, he continued. It's going to be rowdy. Our 4th road game out of the last 5. We've kind of proven that we're built for it. Atlanta? Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott knocked on the wooden lectern when asked whether there was a chance he would miss some time because of a hamstring injury that knocked him out of Sunday's 27-21 loss to the Atlanta Falcons. Prescott will undergo an MRI on Monday to determine the severity. Owner and general manager Jerry Jones called it a high hamstring injury. I mean, it's hard for me to say. I would say that I'll be out there next week, Prescott said of the Cowboys' Week 10 meeting versus the Philadelphia Eagles at AT&T Stadium on November 10th. Once again, I've got to see. Luckily, I can say I've healed fast. I've progressed fast on injuries and things, so thankful for that. Got to get a picture of it. When we get a picture of it, I guess we'll see how bad it is. It'll take a lot for me to not be out there, I'll say personally. Additionally, Cowboys star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb is dealing with a right AC joint issue with his shoulder and is set to undergo an MRI. Jones said he is hopeful Lamb can continue to play since he was able to play through it on Sunday. Prescott suffered his injury after a 5-yard scramble late in the 3rd quarter. On the next play, cameras caught him grimacing as he threw a wobbling 10-yard pass to Jalen Brooks on the wide side of the field. I felt it when I was getting up from the run. I can't even say that I felt it running, Prescott said. The tackle, maybe something on the tackle. Yeah, I don't know, but when I was standing up, I felt something actually. Didn't think it was much. You get tired. It's a physical game. A lot of times you feel different things and they kind of go away. Editor's picks. Jones, Cowboys to mull upgrades, won't give up. 10 H. Todd Archer. Let's overreact to NFL Week 9. Giants should trade for Bryce Young? Cowboys will unload at the deadline? 9 H. Dan Graziano. What we learned in NFL Week 9. We answered big questions and sized up every single matchup. 6 H. NFL Nation. When he got to the top of his dropback, Prescott said he felt something I've never felt. Yeah, it was tough to walk on it at that point. He asked the medical staff whether he could make the injury worse if he continued to play and was told he would not be able to protect himself. So he was pulled in favor of Cooper Rush to start the fourth quarter. Prescott went 18 of 24 for 133 yards with 1 touchdown. He had a season-high 30 yards rushing, including a 22-yard gain on a second-quarter scoring drive. It was the Cowboys' longest run of the season, and Prescott entered the game with 24 yards rushing on the season. Prescott's right hand was shown on the TV broadcast to be swollen, but Jones said after the game that it was not an issue, especially considering the hamstring. I am concerned about that, Jones said of Prescott potentially needing to miss action. Rush went 13 of 25 for 115 yards with a touchdown in relief of Prescott. Before Sunday, Rush played in 2 games this season in mop-up duty, completing 9 of 14 passes for 52 yards and an interception. But in 2022, he went 4-1 as the Cowboys starter after Prescott suffered a broken right thumb in the season opener. If Prescott can't play, then Trey Lance would serve as Rush's backup. Obviously, if Prescott can be out there, that's obviously the best-case scenario. But Cooper's been here a long time and we've got a ton of confidence in Cooper, Pro Bowl right guard Zach Martin said. Anytime he steps in there, he doesn't miss a beat. He takes command of the huddle. He's very intelligent out there and we've got all the confidence in the world if he's got to go. Prescott agreed to a 4-year, $240 million contract hours before the season opener that made him the highest-paid quarterback in the NFL. Including Sunday, he had started 36 straight games after his thumb injury. He missed 11 games in 2020 because of a dislocation and fracture of his right ankle and missed 1 game in 2021 with a right calf strain. He hopes he can make it 37 straight starts next week. A lot of this game is mental, so from that standpoint, I'll be able to get those reps if I don't practice during the week, Prescott said. You play this position, the quarterback position. Every rep is your rep whether you're in there or not. You saw with Coop going in there, giving us a chance, a guy who understands that exactly. So I know what it means to watch practice if I can't participate and get the reps that I need to, all the stuff I normally do and then some. But it will be an important one just to test the hamstring, and as I said, I look forward to doing everything I can in my power to heal this thing up, get a couple of reps in at practice and get out there,